you know, at the beginning of the pandemic, sometimes I spent like 30, 40 hours looking for proof of white hat actions and tying it in so that I could make a video worthwhile, and then I had to edit and put it up and all. And now, we're marching on. Yeah, absolutely. I would say this is marching united. Now, all of the nuns, we got to get more united than we already are, but we're already united. But who else is united? There's so much going on. I tell you, it's time to get excited because when you know, you know. Hi there, Neil here, the Twisted Light Worker. Marching on. Everything's marching on. The whole Q operation, the plan is unfolding. Right back at the very beginning when I started to understand how to find the people who knew what was going on, follow the Q posts, and learn how to read the comms and see everything. It was a long time ago that it became very clear that Trump, Putin, and Xi were all working together, united. The three superpowers on this whole Earth realm were working together to take down the globalist regime, the evil ones, the cabal, the deep state, whatever you want to call them. It's been happening. The original plan started way back, long before the JFK attempted assassination in the 60s. JFK had a Q around his monument. Think about that. So the Q operation's been in planning for a long time, and they knew they had to really have a very solid plan in order to take down the cabal. It wasn't going to be an easy job. Think about that, how long that has been in planning. And they had to use some of the evil one's plans and then run a parallel with it and just slide in the white hats, the good guys' plan in behind it. A lot of things have been taking place that most people haven't got a clue about. And every year since Q posted March Madness, people started to watch for it. Everybody thought it was going to be the March of 2019, then 20. And here we are, it's now 2026. And March Madness is really taking shape. And when you start to follow everything that's been going on, the massive plan that's unfolding, March Madness is happening now. Now, to make it easy for you, in the description below, I put the link to the Q search for March Madness so that you can check it out yourself. Right now, though, we've got some interesting things happening. Mainstream news is painting a picture that 𝓱𝓸𝓽𝓻𝓮 was fired from her position with Homeland Security, Secretary of Homeland Security. No, she wasn't fired. 𝓱𝓸𝓽𝓻, who has served us well and has had numerous and spectacular results, will now be moving to special envoy for the Shield of the Americas. The Americas. Did you notice that? There's plural, Americas. And North America, South America, and Central Americas. Big operation. It's a worldwide event that's taking place, and it's not a simple matter of small changes and arresting a few of the deep state players. And who's taken its place? Mark Wayne Mullen. And here's a video on Mark Wayne Mullen now.
What was your first reaction to just the news that you were nominated for this position, just amidst everything that's happening?
Humbling, because I had to call my dad, and because it happened quick, right? I had to call my wife and call my dad both, and it's just pretty humbling when you start thinking about it. A little kid from Westville, Oklahoma, gets to serve in the president's cabinet. That's pretty neat.
That was good. It gives you a little bit more of a perspective from a different point of view. The clandestine operation that nobody knows about. And even the ones who follow Q and do all the homework and do the research. We don't know all the details. It's a military operation. Of course they're wanted to put it out there so that those of us who do the research could start to find the clues to see what's going on. But they're all clues. They're all definitely clues. And a lot of people don't know about this, but they think that Trump was in the Epstein files. Well, you can go through those 3 million pages and find what he's done in those Epstein files. But the truth of the matter is, Trump's been laying traps. Jeffrey Epstein trap. It started way back in step 1, 2002. Trump knowingly says that Epstein likes his women young. Now, of course, mainstream news, MSN, the programming arm of the deep state players, they have us all believing that Trump was doing the same thing. No, that was a revelation of what Epstein was doing. 2008, Epstein gets a Costa plea deal with Bush-Obama. Pay attention, Bush and Obama gave him a plea bargain. He was already caught from human trafficking and whatnot. In 2009, a victim's lawyer says Trump helped convict Epstein. Now that was in 2009. 2016, Dems think they survived Pizzagate, but Trump is elected. Now, Pizzagate, I'm going to show you a little clip on that. Trump knew about that way back. Way back in 2012. Step 5, 2017. Trump puts Acosta on cabinet to draw attention to Epstein. How do you like that? How do you like that? Step 6, 2019. The Dems try to tie Trump to Epstein, but it all backfires. And it's still backfiring, and we're in the middle of all of that right now. It's still backfiring. So here's that little clip that I told you that I was going to share that was from 2000. Let me double check here. I think that was in 2012. 2012, CNN interviewed Donald Trump on the Wiener Laptrap Top. 2012, he mentions Pizzagate. Have a listen.
Last time I had him on my show was in a fairly lively debate with you, actually. What do you make of this?
Well, I was a little surprised by that debate because all of a sudden he comes out of nowhere and starts going crazy. And, you know, I've known him over the years, and I learned a lot about him that night. I was absolutely shocked. I mean, he was, I found, to be almost unstable. And I watched this today because I was watching between Pizzagate and Anthony Weinergate. I found Anthony Weinergate to be a terrible situation. He obviously knows it's him, and the way he's handled it is either lying or incompetent, and either one is unacceptable. So he's either incompetent or he's lying. Now, it was him because otherwise he would have said that wasn't me. And, you know, he's almost trying to say, well, I don't know it's me. Now, who would not know that's him? Who would not know a picture in that rather terrible position was or wasn't taken? I mean, you know those things. So he's,
obviously we're getting into...
His answers.
Well, we're getting into difficult territory here, Donald. But I mean, would you 100% recognize yourself in a similar image?
Well, I'd know if somebody had a picture of me in, you know, that position and wearing those clothes, and I'd say, you know, yeah, that's me, or it's not me. And he's sort of indicating that it is him, and it's a pretty bad picture. Let's not kid ourselves. And then all of a sudden, that gets sent over to some young woman who's at this point saying, oh, gee, you know, she was surprised to get it. I mean, I think he's handled it horribly. I think he's made what could have been a small story into a very, very big story. And then, you know, he comes out with this whole crazy excuse that he really doesn't want to go much further. It was just a joke. I don't think that's just a joke. And I think it's pretty bad when a congressman gets hacked into.
Yeah, I mean, he obviously gave a lengthy interview to Wolf Blitzer earlier, which, when I was watching it, seemed to raise more questions than it answered.
I watched a couple of those interviews, and I think they were total catastrophes for him. I think it really brings into question whether or not he can ever run for mayor of New York, and maybe whether or not he even keeps the position he's in right now. He's handled it very, very poorly.
March Madness, marching along. It's exciting to see all the things that are coming together. The Q operation. Those of us who have been doing the research, we thought that it was all going to be over by now. But every time that there's a delay, really not a delay in the plan. It's a delay in our thinking. We, the Anons, we kept thinking that it was going to be done and over with a long time ago. But there's still lots to be done. But March Madness, things are marching along. So, Trump mentions Pizzagate way back, 2012, long before he came down the escalator to announce his presidency, running for presidency. They never thought that Hillary would lose. And they've been trying to get rid of Trump and get him out of the way ever since. There's a lot going on that many people don't know about. But the whole Q operation, the Q plan is coming to the close. And this is March Madness. And we are marching along. And time is moving on. And the trio, Trump, Xi, and Putin, working together. The three superpowers of the world. The whole Earth realm. From the North Pole to the South. Three superpowers, all working to get rid of the evil controlling cabal. The evil deep state players. The ones who've had humanity in endless wars. Yeah. These are great times. These are amazing, beautiful times. But there's things that we can all be doing. There's definitely things that we all can be doing. I made this video a while back called the 17 Action Steps, or 17 Steps. And in that video, I talk about the simple things that we can do to help make this world a better place. Getting involved. Cleaning up the cobwebs in our mind is where it starts, so we can tap into that divinity, that spark of the divine that's inside each and every single cell of your body. That spark of the divine that's in you, it's in me, and it's in everyone. Start there. Clean that house up. And clean up the backyard. Clean up the community. We can all do so many things. Those action steps are very simple. Anything that creates unity. Getting together and do a block party. That's mentioned in the 17 steps. Little things that we can do to help create unity and make this world the place that it's intended to be, without the evil deep state players controlling our minds anymore. There's a lot of things that we can do. Promethean Action Group, they're a really good bunch. So once again, make sure you check out this video. And the description's down below, as I said. 17 steps. And they're all very simple. Some of them are a little more detailed, but let's face it, we can do anything with God. Absolutely, we can do anything. And Promethean Action, I found them not that long ago, and I've been following them. They've got some very informative videos. And they've taken their research that's been going on for 30 years, looking at the way the globalist agenda was being controlled. And it's all being done through London. London is the financial hub. Oh, we had the financial hub. We had the military-industrial complex from the Pentagon that was upside down. The evil ones out of that organization have all been taken care of. You wouldn't be surprised. I say you would be surprised if you did some research to see how many military generals have been relieved of their position. The deep state military generals, the evil ones in the evil CIA, evil FBI. All of those things are being taken down. And Promethean Action, they have been following how the world has been controlled by basically the royalty, and they were tied into the Rothschilds. And the Rothschilds, believe it or not, they were tied into the cartels. All the evil on the whole planet has been all tied into that one group. And the Q operation, the military alliance with 100 countries all involved in working to take down deep state players and eliminate them off of the whole Earth realm. Ha! That's great stuff. But Promethean Action, here's a little clip that I've captured that will give you an idea where they're coming from, and they're worth a follow, and their link is in below as well. So here's Promethean Action.
The problem that we have in Texas, is a limp Republican Party which doesn't want to carry the banner of Donald Trump out there. Now, we do what's called a midterm boot camp. It's an every other week live Zoom discussion. And Adam, maybe you can put the Promethean PAC. There you go. This is hosted by our political action arm, Promethean PAC, which has a separate website than Promethean Action. And you'll see where you can sign up for the boot camps on that page. But about, maybe 6 weeks ago, we had 2 Texas candidates on our boot camp. One running for Congress, a young man in his 20s, running for Congress for the first time, Alexander Hale, and Helen Zhao running for state rep, both in similar areas of relatively low income, heavily Democratic areas. They got on our boot camp and they said, look, we're going into these areas and we're campaigning on Trump's economic policies. Helen won. She's the state rep candidate now, and she's running against one of the most powerful, crazy liberal Democrats in the state house, and she will be campaigning on these kinds of policies. And Alex made it into a runoff for Congress, and our friends down there think he has a good chance of winning the runoff. Again, campaigning on Donald Trump's policies. If the Republicans do not do this, they will have their asses handed to them. And that is our job. We have to build a fire under every single candidate out there that we will support them because they are taking the point on Donald Trump's economic revolution. So that's my analysis of what happened in Texas.
Yeah, I think you're seeing the fact that the Democrats have a machine in place, which actually turns out huge numbers of voters in both those areas. Texas, I am frankly not worried about in terms of the ultimate control of the Congress or the Senate, because the people who emerged as this guy on the Democratic side thinks that there's 6 different varieties of human beings sexually. He thinks that God is a binary God.
You mean 𝓘𝓷𝓽𝓻, the Senate?
𝓘𝓷𝓽𝓻, right? In terms of the Senate race, I just don't think in terms of Texas that's going to get very far, no matter what the Republican Party does in terms of sitting on its butt. North Carolina is a little bit more differentiated in the sense that Michael Whatley, the lead Senate candidate, is pretty new to the game, and he's running against a former governor, and the Democrats really think they have a shot there. So you have tons and tons and tons of money pouring in, and what I would suspect is that you have kind of a Republican Party sitting on his butt, and you can't discount the efficacy of the media operations, which, as we said before, are designed to say Trump has already lost the midterms. Why should I turn out? Pessimism is the order of the day. Trump is losing. These influencers, is a very small group of people out there who are essentially running around, doing what I call black pill polling, saying everybody's losing interest, etc. These things can be cured if we get people excited about the economic transformation actually taking place, which is huge. But nobody else is really talking about that except Promethean Action and the White House. And you don't see it in any of the media or any place else. That's reality. And that's what all of us here have to convey. The results and the consequences of not doing it are spectacularly bad for the nation. How can you say that you're America first if you really are looking for us to lose the House and the Senate and for the impeachment of Donald Trump to take place? How can you possibly say that? I say get off your damn ass and get out and actually put your mind to work to realize this agenda. Trump is transforming the world and the country in a way which will bring about, I believe, a new renaissance of mankind. We're coming out of a dark age, a very dark, pessimistic age, and optimism isn't something that people are used to in terms of how they think or how they operate. But I would strongly suggest that every morning, which is what I do, I try and think about my old friend, the philosopher Leibniz, who kept insisting that God made the best of all possible worlds. And I say, how is that true? And how is it not true? I have that debate with myself every single morning. Really, how is it true and not true in terms of the future? And if you take that kind of exercise, that mental exercise to heart, and look at what the president is actually doing, you'll find the energy to get off the couch and get out and talk to your friends and neighbors about voting in the midterm elections. Straight Republican ticket, no matter what it is, even if you have to hold your nose, because Trump will have leverage if he does what many people consider to be impossible and wins the midterms. That's how I'd answer the question.
And here's your action item to get off your couch. Promethean PAC has produced a half-page flyer, which is already, we've sold out the first 2 printings of this faster than we could keep up with. And I know for a fact that one of the places where we are getting the strongest response from activists purchasing this, going to meetings, getting it out, is actually North Carolina. So this is a half-page flyer, which is the basis for going out and starting to talk to people about what this president is actually doing. The first page, as you see here, takes a quote from the president. He called it a Republican New Deal, which I thought was really quite unique because it challenges people to think about what he's doing, not from the standpoint of old Wall Street Republican talking points, but how do you uplift and rebuild the country for the task and the mission ahead? And then the second side is a track record as of about a month ago of what the president had already unleashed in terms of industry, jobs, taking on the big financial conglomerates like the healthcare industry and the meatpacking industry and the banks who have been buying up single-family homes. The president is taking on all of these things. It actually is a new deal in Republican form. So you can go to the Promethean PAC website. Adam has put the code up there and order copies of this and start organizing with it. You can get 100 copies. You can get 2,000 copies. You can get more if you need. And recruit other people to spread the good word. Because again, if we put this on the top of the ticket, remember why we voted for him in 2024? We voted for him because the Council on Foreign Relations, the globalists, have been carrying out deliberately the controlled disintegration of our economy for 50 years. They said it, we've documented it, and you've lived it. And we put Donald Trump back in office in 2024 because he was committed to reversing it. He couldn't do much in his first term. His second term, they're doing it. They're carrying out an economic revolution. And people who are sitting there saying, I'm not going to vote for him because he's run by Israel, or I'm not going to vote because we still have voting machines. I mean, you know, it's like surrendering in the middle of the war because the going is tough, or, you know, enemy propaganda has told you something which you've swallowed in the middle of the fog of war. So this is your immediate ammunition right now. I encourage people on this call in the United States. It's geared for the midterms, of course. We love our friends from Australia and Canada and Britain, but probably not quite appropriate for you at this point. But for our American patriots, get copies of this, circulate it, help us spread the actual good news and pull people out of the matrix.
Marching on, we are marching on. And these are amazing times to be alive. Absolutely amazing times to be alive. And I've been saying this for the longest time. By 2030, our agenda will be in full operation and full swing, and we will thrive and be happy, and I call that thrivalism. I've been calling it thrivalism since 2017, long before I even heard of Q, and Q had started in 2017. So I tapped into this. I'm lucky because I've been blessed with that spiritual connection where I can connect with the divine, and I've been walking with that connection ever since I was a little kid. I won't get into that in this video. So I've given you enough to ponder and go over. And so what I'm going to recommend that you do now is like, subscribe, definitely share my videos. I take a different approach. I'm a little bit of a different fellow with my twisted light worker entry and things of that nature. But I do my best to bring you proof of white hat actions and proof of good things happening and the Q plan unfolding. And then I want to empower people, and that's why I add the spiritual part of a lot of my videos. So check out my Timeless Treasures. It's a playlist. I've just started doing them, and it's going to grow. And all of those videos, well, I shouldn't say all of them, but 98% of those videos are going to be under 12 minutes. That's the commitment that I've made to make them short. But they're timeless treasures. Their empowerment help you tap into that spark of the divine inside you. You'll find the links to a lot of those types of things in the description down below. A big thank you to those people who have reached out and support my work and bought me a coffee. And a couple people now have joined my monthly subscribers. So a big thank you for that. You can do that too. Totally $9 a month, or you can be a monthly subscriber. So with that, as always, I'm going to end this video with a wish from the bottom of my heart, from the center of every cell in my body where that spark of the divine is attached right into my DNA. I'm reaching out to that spark of the divine in you to uplift you and inspire you. And I wish you and yours peace profound. I wish you and yours peace profound.